Australia breaks every rule of geography, biology, and basic logic. This is a place where trees explode in the heat, where spiders big enough to eat birds are considered normal, where an entire mountain is made of a single rock, and where convicts built one of the wealthiest nations on Earth in a land that actively tried to kill them. The more you learn about Australia, the less sense it makes. So buckle up, because we're diving into 50 facts that prove Australia is not just strange, it's in a category of weird all its own. 1. Australia has trees that literally explode. Eucalyptus trees are so packed with flammable oil that, during extreme heat, they do not just burn, they detonate. The oil vaporizes, pressure builds, and the entire tree bursts apart like a grenade. Bushfires do not just spread, they explode across the landscape. 2. It's the only place on Earth where you can find mammals that lay eggs. The platypus and echidna are so bizarre that when British scientists first examined a platypus specimen in 1798, they thought it was a hoax, a duckbill sewn onto a beaver body as a prank. 3. Australia has more Germans than Greece has Greeks. Over 1 million Australians claim German ancestry. There are entire towns in South Australia where German is still spoken in homes, and bakeries sell authentic stollen and pretzels. 4. The country was literally used as a giant open-air prison. Between 1788 and 1868, Britain shipped over 160,000 convicts to Australia. Crimes that got you exiled included stealing bread, poaching rabbits, or simply being Irish and politically inconvenient. 5. Australia has a mountain that glows purple. The Glasshouse Mountains in Queensland are made of volcanic rock rich in feldspar, and at sunset that rock reflects light in deep purple hues, creating an otherworldly glow that can be seen for miles. 6. Wombats poop cubes. Seriously. Their intestines have sections with different elasticity that shape the waste into perfect cubes, and they stack those cubes on rocks to mark territory. Scientists only figured out how this works in 2021. 7. Australia declared war on emus in 1932 and lost. Farmers were being overrun by 20,000 emus, so the military sent soldiers armed with machine guns. The emus outmaneuvered them, scattered under fire, and after weeks of humiliation, the military withdrew. The emus won. 8. There is a lake that is still completely unexplored. Lake Cotty-Thonda, when it floods, becomes so vast and remote that no one has ever fully mapped its depths or documented all the species that appear when the water returns. 9. Australia is home to the most dangerous beach in the world. Fraser Island's eastern beach has riptides, sharks, jellyfish, and aggressive dingoes. Swimming there is basically illegal because survival odds are so low. 10. Kangaroos outnumber humans nearly 2 to 1. There are roughly 50 million kangaroos in Australia. They are so common that commercially hunted kangaroo meat is exported worldwide and considered more sustainable than beef. 11. Australia has spiders that hunt fish. The fishing spider sits on the water's edge, detects ripples, then dives in to catch fish, tadpoles, and even small frogs. They can stay underwater for over 30 minutes. 12. Australia sits on the fastest moving tectonic plate. Australia's plate shifts so fast that GPS systems become inaccurate within just a few years. Road maps printed 10 years ago are now technically wrong by meters. 13. There is a town completely run by children. The Barramundi Discovery Center in the Northern Territory trains children to be tour guides, with children as young as 8 leading adult tourists through crocodile exhibits. 14. Australia has a rabbit-proof fence that spans 1,800 kilometers. Built in 1907 to stop rabbits from destroying crops, it stretches across Western Australia and remains the longest unbroken fence ever constructed for pest control. 15. Sharks are hunted by saltwater crocodiles here. In northern Australia, massive crocodiles ambush bull sharks in river mouths, dragging them into death rolls. It is one of the only places where apex predators regularly eat each other. 16. Australia has lightning that strikes the same spot thousands of times a year. The Taiwan Islands experience more lightning strikes per square kilometer than anywhere else on Earth, with storms so reliable you can set your watch by them. 17. There is a bay where dolphins bring humans gifts. In Tangalooma, wild dolphins have been presenting fish, eels, and squid to humans for decades. Scientists still do not know why. 18. Australia has flowers that only bloom after fires. Grass trees and banksias have evolved to need extreme heat to germinate. Some seeds lie dormant for decades, waiting for fire to crack them open. 19. The continent has cave systems older than the dinosaurs. Genelin caves are at least 340 million years old, making them the oldest open caves in the world, predating the first reptiles. 20. Australia exports sand to Saudi Arabia. Although Saudi Arabia has vast deserts, it imports sand from Australia because that sand is the right type for construction and for making glass. 21. There's a highway where you can drive for over 1,000 kilometers without seeing a gas station. The Nullarbor Plain is so empty that fuel stops are marked on maps like rare oases. 22nd. Australia has fish that drown in air. Lungfish are ancient species that evolved before proper fish. They must surface to breathe air, or they will suffocate underwater. Evolution in reverse. 23. Gympie gympie is the most painful plant on Earth. This Australian stinging tree causes pain so severe that people have reportedly killed themselves to escape it. The sting lasts for months, sometimes years. 24. Australia has wild camels, and they are considered pests. Over 1 million feral camels roam the outback. Australia actually exports camels back to the Middle East because the herds are so genetically pure. 25. There is a jellyfish smaller than a fingernail that can kill you in minutes. The Irukandji jellyfish is nearly invisible, and its sting causes Irukandji syndrome, a sense of impending doom so intense, victims beg doctors to let them die. 26. Australia has a glowing beach. Gippsland lakes sometimes light up bright blue at night due to bioluminescent plankton. The water sparkles like liquid stars with every movement. 27. Box jellyfish have 24 eyes, but no brain. They navigate complex environments, hunt prey, and avoid obstacles using a decentralized nervous system that science still barely understands. 28. There is a town where everyone lives in one building. Coober Petty's underground hotels, homes, churches, and shops are all carved into rock, and some residents never see daylight for days. 29. Australia has trees that are completely hollow inside but still alive. Giant tingle trees in Western Australia have burned out cores large enough to drive a car through, yet the outer shell continues growing. 30. Magpies hold grudges and seem to plan revenge. Australian magpies remember faces, coordinate group attacks, and have been documented swooping the same person years after an initial encounter. 31. There's a natural rock formation that looks exactly like a giant wave frozen in time. Wave Rock near Hayden stands 15 meters tall and looks so much like a tsunami that people instinctively step back. 32. Australia has more than 10 times as many sheep as people. With over 63 million sheep, wool production is still a massive industry, and some sheep stations are bigger than small countries. 33. The thorny devil lizard drinks through its feet. It has microscopic grooves in its skin that channel moisture directly to its mouth, letting it drink from damp sand. 34. Australia has a town with a population of 1. The town of Cooladi in Queensland has 1 resident who serves as the mayor, bartender, and town council all at once. 35. There are trees here that are older than the pyramids. Hoon pines in Tasmania can live over 3,000 years, with some groves genetically identical and cloning themselves for over 10,000 years. 36. Australia has the longest golf course in the world. The Nullarbor Links stretches 1,365 kilometers, with holes in different towns. Playing it requires a road trip across the continent. 37. Funnel web spiders can survive underwater for 24 hours. They trap air bubbles in their hair and breathe while submerged. That means you cannot even escape them by diving into water. 38. There is a cricket ground inside a maximum security prison. Prisoners play organized matches, and it is considered one of the toughest cricket venues to play at because heckling from inmates is merciless. 39. Australia had a prime minister who disappeared and was never found. Harold Holt went for a swim in 1967 and he vanished. Despite massive searches, no trace was ever recovered. 40. Koalas sleep 22 hours a day because eucalyptus is basically poison. The leaves are so toxic and low in nutrients that koalas need near constant rest just to digest them without dying. 41. There is a lake that turns blood red. Lake Bumbunga in South Australia becomes deep crimson during dry seasons because of extreme salt concentration and blooms of specific algae. 42. Australia has stingrays that walk on land. Epaulet sharks evolved to crawl across reefs using their fins when tide pools dry up, and they can hold their breath for over an hour. 43rd. There is a town built entirely around opal mining. Coober Pedy produces 70% of the world's opals. Miners live underground to escape 50-degree heat while they dig for gemstones. 44. Crocodiles can climb trees. Young saltwater crocodiles have been documented climbing over 2 meters high to bask in branches, which means nowhere is truly safe. 45. Australia has forests made entirely of stone. The Pinnacles. Desert features thousands of limestone pillars that look like a petrified forest, formed from ancient seashells compressed over millions of years. 46. There is a spider that builds decoy versions of itself in its web. The decoy spider crafts fake spiders from debris to confuse predators while it hides nearby. 47. Tasmanian devils scream like banshees during fights. Their nighttime shrieks are so terrifying that early European settlers thought the island was haunted by demons. 48. Australia has a crater lake that is perfectly circular and more than 1,000 meters deep. Lake Ecom formed from a volcanic explosion so violent it vaporized everything within a 5-kilometer radius. 49. Blue-ringed octopuses are smaller than a golf ball but carry enough venom to kill 26 adults. There is no antivenom, and they are found in shallow rock pools where children play. 50. And finally, Australia is the only continent that is a country, that is an island, and that is home to some of the oldest continuous cultures on Earth. It is a place where nature wrote its own rules, and humans just try to survive them. Australia is not just strange, it is proof that Earth still has places that defy explanation, where the impossible is everyday reality, and where survival requires adapting to a land that seems designed to test every limit. If you made it this far, you now know why Australia stands alone as the strangest country on the planet.